Why are we interested? Why are we interested in spirituality? Why are we interested in non-duality? Well, the authentic impulse. The authentic impulse is a result of confusion or the question, is this really it? The authentic impulse is a result of a deep wondering, a deep wondering about life, about the world that the human being has built, has created. And the question, is this really it? All this striving for more. Why? All this conflict, all this pain, all this suffering. Why? And then the authentic impulse. That is a result of the intuition that the answer to all these questions, lies within oneself. That is typically what initiate the search. The search for something more authentic. And then we start looking within. And we quickly discover that the foundation the foundation within ourselves is very fragile. There is nothing solid about the foundation. For instance, the answer to the question, who am I, will, for most human beings, be a conceptual answer. And there is not much stability in a conceptual answer. So there is a longing for something that is more real, authentic. But at first it might feel, it might feel, feels difficult. Because it is an interest that you will not be sharing with many others. It is a lonely path. And the reason why the path is lonely is that you cannot depend on anyone else. You are on your own. That is why I cannot give you the final answers. I can hint at them. I can point towards. But the seeing you have to do you on your own. So what happens is that we start to peel off layer after layer. Inquire into belief systems. Inquire into or examining the foundation that we are carrying, the supposed foundation, the which is actually funny because the so-called modern world has no other foundation than hurrying, being busy, faster and faster, and no one knows where we are going. But that is supposedly the foundation for life. Faster and faster, more and more. As if more is what will take us to the promised land. My suggestion is that more is what prevents us from recognizing the promised land. What if the promised land was already here? That would be embarrassing, wouldn't it? What if the promised land was buried underneath all the confusion, all the striving, all the efforting, all the conflicts, all the misunderstandings? That is my suggestion. That it may be hiding in plain sight. Just apparently covered up by mental noise. You see, if it is really true that the promised land, Nirvana, is already here, just covered up apparently by mental noise, then I have to be careful not to just provide you with some more mental noise. And the cat is very insisting. Yeah, I love you. Then I have to be careful not to burden you with more mental noise. Then what to do? Yeah, first of all, that is the very reason why my videos are full of silence. Because the silence is actually the real message. in silence, we are confronted by our own internal mental noise. And we definitely do not like it to be confronted. So we distract ourselves. And that is why these videos that I produce, they will never become popular in the traditional sense. But that is not my aim. They are not meant to be distractions. Quite the contrary. So in silence, we meet ourselves, or rather we meet what we have become. And that we have to face. And that is why the most powerful meditation is a meditation of just observing. Just observing. Watching. Watching with closed eyes. And then some might wonder, how is it possible to watch anything with closed eyes? Well, I will tell you that only with your eyes closed can you see clearly. Watch your inner world. Don't do anything about it. Learn. Observe. Don't do anything about it. The intelligence that you have access to is far, far greater than what the typical human being is utilizing. The intelligence that you have access to is vast, but you cannot access it in any other ways than becoming silent. The conditioned mind is very narrow in its perspectives. It is unable to observe anything beyond its own conditioning. So the conditioned mind is imprisoned by its own knowledge. and it is limited by its own knowledge. But you are not limited by that knowledge. You have access to a vast ocean of intelligence. But if you want to open up the door to that intelligence, the key to unlock that door is silence, becoming still. And in that sense, it is a wonderful democratic. I don't know if I can use that word, but never mind. It is accessible for everybody, no matter status, no matter gender, no matter nationality, and certainly no matter how much money or power you got or haven't got. So that is the wonderful thing about this. It cannot be bought. So it doesn't matter if you are the wealthiest man or woman on the planet. That will not give you any advantage. And at the same time, what I'm pointing at is the most valuable, the most precious thing that you will ever encounter, ever come about. But the key to accessing the promised land, the key is silence, stillness. And a curiosity. Curiosity will take you beyond the mind. A genuine curiosity. You have to be curious about what lays behind, or rather beyond, your current knowledge, your current beliefs. And to discover what is beyond your current beliefs, you have to leave your beliefs behind. but silence will dissolve all beliefs. So in silence, we encounter what we have become. And there we will just watch, observe. Do not judge anything, but be curious. Learn, true learning. In silence, we learn what has been programmed into our own subconscious. It is a marvelous journey. And from time to time, painful like nothing else. But just on the other side, of all our beliefs, just on the other side is the promised land. Silence and stillness will become increasingly will become an increasingly part of this channel. In my talks and in meditations, an intellectual understanding will only take you so far. An intellectual understanding has its place, but it will only take you so far. And when you have tried all the spiritual quick fixes, you will once again be standing without any further tricks to perform. So intellectual understanding will only take you as far. To keep on moving beyond intellectual understanding, silence and stillness. And mind you, we are not trying to make the mind silent. That is not the aim of it. We are trying to learn. We are trying to understand what we have become. And in that understanding, habitual thought patterns will dissolve. Habitual thought patterns that perpetuated themselves only because you were not aware of it. Only because they were perpetuating themselves outside of your understanding. And you were not aware of the energy that fueled them. In silence, we dive into these habitual thought patterns. We learn about them, we watch them. They stand revealed. And by understanding, by clear seeing, they are losing their grip on us. And freedom emerges. Just by observing, by becoming still. This much I can tell you. The way that habitual thought patterns, the way in which they lose their grip on us is different than what you are used to when you measure or evaluate things. The moment that a deep-seated habit is evaporating, you will not notice that particular moment. You will never notice that moment where it dissolves. What you will instead is, suddenly one day you will be in a situation. It could be a social situation of any kind. And then suddenly it dawns on you. This is strange. In a situation like this, I usually act mechanically. I usually have a lot of emotions. A situation like this usually triggers a lot of emotions. But now, there is nothing. There is peace. And at that moment, you realize that you are changing, that you are entering the promised land of peace, of inner peace. And that discovery, that will be the fuel for your explorations into stillness. Because now you know, now you have seen, now you understand clearly. You have seen the connections between these subconscious habitual thought patterns and your emotions. And you understand that it is exactly these subconscious habitual thought patterns that are triggering your emotions, and by doing so, you lose your autonomy, you lose your freedom, you lose your ability to be peaceful within, be loving within. And that is what you truly want. I know that. What you truly long for is to be filled with peace and love. And the peace and love is already within you. It has just been covered up by mental noise. But we will dig our way through the mental noise. And the shovel that we are using is silence, stillness. From my heart, thank you.